That investigation is now complete. The central findings of the investigation are that the man whose voice is heard on the recording and on a second recording from the same conversation that was released on Sunday, accordingly, effective immediately, I am banning.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Wnba Core. Today's story has sparked major discussion across the Wnba. Reports about an alleged audio leak and claims of a shocking decision involving Brittney Griner have been making headlines and fueling intense reactions online. What's really behind these reports and what information is actually available? Let's break down everything we know. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into today's story. I'm banning her with immediate effect. It only required that one sentence and Brittney Griner, one of the Wnba's most well-known names, is gone. Not fined, not suspended, permanently prohibited. In the most incendiary news conference we've seen in years, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver took the stage. What on earth happened? Did Griner rig games? Supporters are questioning, was she manipulating the referees? Or is there more to this story, something the public wasn't supposed to know? According to circulating claims, the situation becomes messier the deeper you dig. There have been rumors regarding her identity, audio leaks, administrative scandals, and secret testimony. You had better fasten your seatbelt, because we're dissecting everything right here. Now, let's begin by discussing how this whole controversy blew up. Adam Silver drops a massive bombshell as he enters an emergency press conference, announcing that Brittney Griner is permanently barred from the Wnba as of right now. There was no warm-up or gradual build-up, just pure, unfiltered news. She achieved international recognition, multiple Olympic gold medals, and numerous all-star appearances. Yet suddenly, her presence was erased. Silver, however, wasn't taking the matter lightly. He stated that the league carried out a thorough internal inquiry and that the findings were far too significant to overlook, citing numerous rule infractions, off-court turmoil, and allegations surrounding a major corruption case. He remarked, and I quote, "There is no place in basketball for actions that compromise the integrity of the game." What precisely did investigators uncover then? What went so drastically wrong that Silver felt compelled to impose the most severe penalty imaginable? Let's examine it closely, because this represented a mountain of warning signs that finally came to a head rather than a single isolated error. Let's keep in mind who we are discussing before we break down every detail. Brittney Griner played at the highest levels of the Wnba, where fans celebrated her rim protection and dunking ability, making her a walking billboard for women's basketball. She won 2 Olympic gold medals, hosted youth camps, headlined major Nike advertisements, and represented Team USA globally. She was everywhere. Now, she's abruptly out, no prior notice, no farewell tour, just completely blacklisted. How does an athlete go from being the league's ultimate poster child to being shut out entirely? If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 70% of our viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, takes just a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already? Great! Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video. It turns out that her recent actions weren't the sole reason for this fallout. For a long time, persistent rumors had been circulating, locker room friction, difficulty with teammates, and heated disputes with game officials. Then the issues began to pile up. People across the league stopped staying quiet about missed team protocols and dubious off-court behavior. Yet for a period, league leadership overlooked it. Why? Because Griner generated immense public attention and sold arena tickets, until the negative headlines grew too loud for Silver to ignore, prompting leadership to sever ties completely. The league abruptly moved on from one of its biggest stars. Shocking, right? However, we have only just scratched the surface. This is where the story becomes extremely complex. This isn't merely a dramatic locker room tale, it involves high-stakes allegations of corruption. Reports allege Griner was involved in attempts to tamper with game outcomes. According to league insiders, these claims involve shifting momentum during critical moments, pressuring referees, and influencing results. How was that possible? It appears she exercised far more leverage behind the scenes than fans initially realized. The rumors that she spoke directly to officials or altered team atmospheres were only the beginning. However, major warning signs began appearing when playoff races tightened and game outcomes appeared unusually staged. When Silver brought in external investigators, the structure collapsed. Executives faced scrutiny, officials were reviewed, and Griner's name allegedly appeared throughout internal emails, call recordings, and text messages. This went beyond individual ego or player attitude, it touched on game manipulation. Altering outcomes impacts the league as a whole as well as the competitive spirit of sports. Silver was not going to overlook that level of disruption. Do you believe any single player should ever wield that much leverage? Because everything we believe to be true about WNBA integrity is challenged if even half of these reports hold weight, that brings up another major question: where was league leadership while all of this was transpiring? Many assumed WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert was actively managing internal discipline. Instead, reports place her right in the middle of the fallout. Insiders claim Engelbert was aware of growing tensions long before Silver intervened. Players reportedly sent formal emails, issued warnings, and voiced silent grievances. What action was taken initially? Virtually nothing. Reports suggest leadership sought to preserve the WNBA's public reputation and avoid a high-profile confrontation with Griner. In any case, that silence exacerbated the situation. Internal reviews are now reportedly underway, with some fans demanding administrative resignations while Silver's office assumed control of the disciplinary proceedings. The issue grew so severe that it transcended a single athlete, exposing systemic gaps that allowed such issues to brew unchecked. What happens when public relations is prioritized over immediate accountability? Chaos naturally results, leaving the organization trying to clean up a mess it helped create. If it weren't for a few courageous figures who decided enough was enough, this entire situation might have remained buried. Key names quickly emerged, major stars like Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark. These aren't fringe rotation players, they represent the current and future core of the sport. Reports allege they provided testimony behind closed doors to league investigators, sharing startling details about matchups where officiating calls appeared unnaturally skewed toward Griner's squad. They brought receipts to the table rather than mere speculation. Rumors indicate that league officials reviewed specific audio clips during those meetings, including recordings where Griner allegedly discussed officiating dynamics and key matchups. That implies strategic planning rather than routine physical play on the court. Once marquee stars like Clark brought these matters forward, league executives could no longer shield the situation, forcing Silver's hand to take decisive action. Consider this: if Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark had remained silent, would this ban have ever taken place, or would leadership have continued protecting its star? The most intense aspect of the situation is how Griner's camp reacted. Did anyone expect her legal team to sit back quietly? Not a chance. As soon as news of the disciplinary action broke, Griner's representatives went straight to work, assembling defense attorneys, public relations strategists, and media contacts. Insiders state her legal team is preparing a comprehensive appeal, describing the ruling as excessive, politically motivated, and legally unsound. They are demanding full access to all investigative files, including confidential audio recordings, and threatening formal litigation. This is where the narrative grows even wilder. Her defense team contends that Griner is being scapegoated to divert attention from broader administrative failures within the league. According to her camp, she was targeted for being vocal, challenging executive decisions, and holding substantial influence among players. Whether that perspective is accurate or not, one thing is certain: this won't be settled quietly in a single press release. The situation is headed toward a high-stakes public battle, and if it reaches open court, even more internal details could come to light. We are left to question whether Griner is being positioned to shield higher-level figures, or if this marks the ultimate downfall of a star who finally faced consequences. Then, just when it seemed the controversy couldn't get more complex, identity-based rumors flooded social media platforms. The topic has become uncomfortable, highly contentious, and widely discussed across sports forums. After circulating quietly online for years, claims questioning Griner's birth gender suddenly exploded into mainstream discourse. While sports media outlets are not qualified to issue medical diagnoses, commentators have alleged that league officials possessed extensive documentation and medical records for years. Why would such information be kept quiet historically? Because Griner was a cornerstone brand asset for the WNBA, shattering records, throwing down dunks, driving ticket sales, and headlining global promotions. A narrative of that magnitude breaking publicly had the potential to destabilize the commercial foundation of the league. Now, alongside her ban, these long-standing rumors are resurfacing. Insiders argue that the current fallout involves far more than basic game manipulation. It touches on long-term transparency and competitive fairness under Title IX policies. Is the current stance driven purely by competitive integrity, or is it an effort to manage long-concealed administrative secrets? While the absolute truth continues to be debated, the surrounding controversy has left supporters, fellow athletes, and corporate sponsors hesitant. Taking a broader look, this story extends beyond a single player. It impacts a league navigating a critical transitional era. Corporate sponsors are analyzing their brand alignments, television networks are reviewing long-term contracts, and fans are left wondering what narrative to trust when headlines range from game rigging to administrative cover-ups. Rising stars like Caitlin Clark entered the professional ranks with immense fan enthusiasm and momentum. Yet, they now find themselves competing amidst an environment that often resembles a media circus more than standard sports coverage. How will this impact future incoming talent? Parents and young athletes watching this turmoil unfold will naturally question the stability of the environment. Here we stand, the sports community is in debate, legendary figures face lifetime bans, and the full picture behind WNBA operations is still coming into focus. What was supposed to be a golden era of record viewership, sold-out arenas, and expanding media deals is instead being dominated by claims of administrative cover-ups and internal conflict. The entire basketball community is watching to see what steps Adam Silver takes next. Will additional player statements be released? Will Brittney Griner take a public stand and reveal internal league communications? And will the players who stepped forward be protected from professional backlash? This is far from the final chapter of this narrative. We will continue asking the tough questions that PR statements attempt to avoid. We want to hear from you. Was the strict ban warranted? Or is the league using public relations to manage a much larger administrative mess? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure to like, subscribe to WNBA Core, and hit that notification bell if you want authentic sports coverage rather than corporate spin.